So, Caitlin, you've got a gorgeous new song called High, which has this lovely sort of country gospel feel. And that chorus, I mean, it just comes out of nowhere and hits you like a punch. Please tell me a bit about the writing and recording of it, would you?
Yes, well, I'm so excited that High's finally out in the world. I wrote the song a handful of years ago with a dear friend of mine, Jen DeSilvio. The idea started in a hotel room in LA, and as some of my favorite songs that I've written happen, it just kind of just falls out of the sky, like, whoa, it just hits me like, what is this melody? What are these words? And so High was created. What I love about this song is I love singing this song because I can sing it from my toes, as you can hear from the production. Like it really just gets massive and choral in the chorus. The cool thing about this song is after we had written it, the song was just passed around from around the publishers of Nashville. It made its way to LA to a guy named Mark Ronson, who was an
Okay.
incredible producer there, and he sent it to Miley Cyrus. And so there's also a version out there on Miley's latest record, her rock and roll album. I feel proud to say this is her only country song on her rock and roll record. So there's an incredible Miley version out there, but this is my version, and I'm excited to share it with the world.
You've also just released a song called The Card You Gamble, which was written by the Love Junkies, Hilary Lindsay, Liz Rose, and Laurie McKenna. Now, this is also the main theme song to the upcoming television series Monarch, starring Trace Atkins and Susan Sarandon. So tell me, how did you become involved in this big project?
Yes, I am so honored to have my voice on the theme song. This is definitely a bucket list thing, so I feel very, very pumped about that. But my label, Monument Records, is actually in charge of the soundtrack for this TV show, and so it was kind of just through my team this song got passed to me. And I've really not recorded many songs that I've not written. I'm a songwriter first and then an artist. And so, but when I heard this Love Junkie song, and I'm such a huge fan, I was like, absolutely, I would love to perform this. And so I did my version, sent it to Fox, the TV show people, and they loved it. And so I'm very excited. I also may or may not be in episode 4 of
Okay,
the season, performing my new song High. So stay tuned for that. It's out this fall.
cool. Your most recent album, Supernova, that came out originally back in March of 2020. And you've spoken about the fact that the majority of the songs were written whilst you were pregnant. And as a result, your emotions were at a heightened state. Um,
Truth.
Now that that album has been out for nearly 2 years, the dust has settled. Um, Tell me a bit about the writing and recording of it, but also what are your thoughts and feelings towards that body of work now that it's been out for a while?
Yeah, that's a very wonderful question. I have mixed feelings about this record. Um, I feel uh it's a little bit sad because this was like a record that I was like very excited to kind of go into this next realm of music. I definitely was pushing the production in more of a pop angle. I was pushing
Mhm.
the songs in more of a pop angle, and so it's interesting because we had big plans, and then just like everybody, it got shut down. And so um being able to live with this record in the cycle that it did of like mostly playing shows online or doing like, Zooms, things like that was very, very interesting. Um, but I also feel so grateful for this little album because um, we decided because it was released on lockdown day to re-release it in the fall of 2020, but put a few more songs on it. And it was because of that we decided to do a collaboration
Mhm.
and asked our friends Old Dominion to collaborate on the song I Can't. And so all of that happened where it was maybe a little disappointing. Now I have had an opportunity to release my first single to country radio in the US, which I've never done before. And so there's definitely highs and lows to the entire release of the album. But when I think of the body of work, I definitely am like, that's a snapshot of that part of
Mhm.
my life, and I'm grateful for that. But I think you're always most excited about what's coming next.
Okay. Okay. Now, I believe from the ages of, say, 16 to 23, you were as consistently as possible making the trip back and forth from Minnesota to Nashville. And you did that until you ultimately landed a publishing deal. Then yourself and your husband, who's also a songwriter, you made the move to Nashville.
Yeah.
Um, tell me about that, as in, like, whenever you first arrived in Music City, because I've been a few times and it's such, I would imagine, an intimidating place considering the body of talent. Was the original mindset just to maintain a living as a songwriter, or at that point did you already have aspirations of becoming an artist in your own right?
Yeah. Well, I had performed as a young age all
Mhm.
around Minnesota and already had such a passion for performing. And then I started writing, which really that is what brought me to Nashville is we met one person. And so we went down there, played him some music, and it's just such a beautiful community because they connect you with 10 more people. Um, I didn't realize when I went to Nashville the first time that it wasn't just Music City, that it was Songwriter City. I didn't realize that there's a job out there that you just can get paid money to make songs up. I thought that was so cool. And so during my first few trips, I realized, wow, you can have the best voice in the world. There's all of the best voices here in Nashville. But if you want a career, you really have to have great songs.
Mhm.
I understood that from a young age. And so I decided to put as much energy as I could into honing my craft as a writer. And so the trips started turning into songwriting trips where I would meet different writers. Um, and so it was a lot of years of just writing, writing, writing. Finally got a publishing deal. Um, it was and it it was and it wasn't intimidating. I think because I was so naive. I think I was so naive and I was like, you know what? I'm just happy to be here in Nashville and I thought I'm just gonna play my guitar for some people. Maybe I'll get a record deal. I mean, it did not turn out like that, but I think my stubbornness and my naivety really just served me well in those early years for sure.
And when you first arrived, your publisher set you up with the great Don Schlitz, of course, very
Yes.
famous for writing songs like The Gambler, Forever and Ever Amen, When You Say Nothing at All. He sort of took you under his wing, and a song that you wrote together, You Can't Make Old Friends, was recorded by Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. And you may or may not be aware, it was actually a big hit over here as well for two Irish country singers called Nathan Carter and Lisa McHugh. Tell me a bit about, because I know the title of the song was Kenny's idea, but how did it come together? And tell me about the moment that you discovered it was being recorded by those two legends.
Oh my goodness. It still is surreal every time I talk about it. Um, well, Don had the title given to him by Kenny, and he saved it for our session, which I'm so grateful for. And as Don and I had tended to do was just sit down and we would write so easily. It was like an hour long session, then the song would be written. He would focus on the lyrics and everything he would write would just make sense melodically to me. And so we crafted this song. We made a little work tape into our phone and then sent it to Kenny. And we didn't hear a word for months and months and months. We're like, he doesn't like it. I remember it was April Fool's Day. I was sitting down having breakfast with my publisher. He goes, "Did you hear about this Kenny song?" And I was like, "Did you hear something back from Kenny? Like, what do you know?" And he was like, he said, "Well, the great Dolly Parton is going to duet with him. Since it's been 30 years since Islands in the Stream, they are going to duet one more time on your song." And I like almost threw my eggs. I was like, if this is an April Fool's Day joke, I am leaving town. This is not funny. And so the great thing is it wasn't a joke, and I remember vividly. It is one of like my core memories of Chris Lacey, who works at the label that Kenny was at. She had a copy of the recording, but she couldn't send it to me, so she drove to my house and she had a a Walkman or something, and she put the headphones on my ears and push play, and I got to sit there and listen to it for the first time, and just I wept like a baby. This is just the craziest thing to hear to hear these two legends who are heroes of mine sing this song is just, it's still amazing.
And there's a very interesting point where, in an effort to sort of establish yourself as an artist in your own right, you took a bunch of songs that you'd recorded and you shopped them around labels in Nashville. And I can't understand this, but they passed on you. But two of the songs went on to become massive hits for, coincidentally, two winners of the American version of The Voice. Wasting All These Tears, which you wrote with your husband and was recorded by Cassadee Pope, and The Heart of Dixie, which you wrote with Brett James and Troy Verges and was a massive smash for Danielle Bradbery. I mean, despite the success, that must have been hugely frustrating.
Oh, it was, it was definitely frustrating. It was a hard decision. I remember crying over this, going like, I love this song, Wasting All These Tears. And you know, my, it was definitely an argument of like, but I also want to make some money. That'd be fun too. So it was very frustrating. And I had a battle, but at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I'm not going into the studio tomorrow to make a record. I can write more songs. Like, let's just see what happens here. And so I did let it go. But I learned through the years that if I'll write something that is so personal,
Mhm.
like for instance, a song on my first record, Starfire, called "This Town Is Killing Me." That song, I wrote it. And I'm like, this is my song. I am just not going to play it for anybody else because I don't want to have to tell someone no. I'm too nice. I just, and so I've learned through the years of like, okay, I'm just going to hold this for myself for sure. But it was hard.
I have to tell you, right? I first became aware of you as an artist. I remember it was back in 2018, and I was listening to Casey Musgraves was a guest on Elton John's Rocket Hour on Apple Music, and I actually had headphones in, and I was cleaning out a garage, and she started talking about you, Casey, and just praising you as a singer-songwriter. And then they played that song, "This Town Is Killing Me," and I actually stopped what I was doing, listened to the song, and then rewound it and listened to the song again.
Oh,
Um, Tell me,
thank
I mean,
you.
that song just reeks of somebody at their lowest point, but I mean, but I love it so much.
Thank you. I love it so much too. I mean, I remember the moment this title came into my head. I had heard the 10,000th no in Nashville, I'm pretty sure, and I came home so frustrated. I just like face plopped on the couch and I was like, why did I move my family here? Like, what am I doing? Like, I just felt like I don't even know why I'm here anymore.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that this title hit my brain, and I said, okay, that's why I'm here. I
Mhm.
need to write this. This is exactly why I'm here. I need to turn whatever's going on in here into something I can sing about. And I feel so grateful. I took the idea to Gordy Sampson and Paul Moak, two of my favorite writers in Nashville. And, you know, we've all felt that exact feeling. Um, and it's so specific, but it's also so universal of like, when you move somewhere for a dream, and it's hard, man. That is just the most brutal thing. But the thing I keep coming back to is like, even though Nashville was hard and the journey was hard, I kept coming back to there is just nothing else I would rather do.
Mhm.
Nothing else.
I remember even seeing Ed Sheeran tweeting about how much he loved the song. But
Ah,
another one
so
of your
nice.
songs, Tacoma, you wrote with Bob DiPiero, and that was recorded by Garth Brooks for his Man Against Machine album. But Garth's wife, Trisha Yearwood, now I know that she was the first artist you ever saw in concert when you were 7 years old. And
Yes.
then for her to record Every Girl in This Town, which you wrote with, I think, Eric Dillon and Connie Harrington, I mean, all
Yes.
those years later, what a surreal turnaround moment.
Stuart, it was so surreal because she actually invited me into the studio and I was very, very pregnant. I think I was on like month 10. Very, very pregnant. I remember she invited me in to come sing backgrounds on that version. And so now this full circle moment of like this first woman that I ever saw play live that really sparked like this passion of country music in my heart is now like having me come sing on her song and singing a song that I wrote. Like mind blowing. Can't make that up.
And just very finally, you're going to be in London on the 10th of March performing at the Indigo at the O2. This is the CMA Songwriters Series. Joining you are Russell Dickerson, Ashley Gorley, and Shy Carter. How much are you looking forward to this?
Oh my gosh, this is a bucket list thing for me. I have been wanting to play C2C for years and years and years, and I feel so, so grateful. Also, those dudes are my friends, and so it's just going to be a really fun round to share the stage with them as well. But I can't wait to come on over and share my songs and the stories behind them with this audience. It's just going to be the best.
Caitlin, listen, thank you so much for giving me some time. I'm in love with your music. I play it as much as I can on the radio here in Northern Ireland,
Oh,
and
thank you.
continued success.
Thank you so much. And visiting Northern Ireland is absolutely on the list of things to do. And so I hope that I get to make it up there very soon.
So do we.